Hey everybody, how's it going today? I was going to talk a little bit about my art projects today. Some things that I've been jumping into lately that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm an artist by nature. It's just what I love to do is create. It doesn't have to be some specific painting or design or anything, but I just like to create. And recent turns in business have caused me to rethink the idea of pursuing my passion of creating jewelry for a living, if you will. I hate saying that term, for a living, because it's never about the money, but everybody has to eat. And so making that jump from being an artist to being a salesman is a huge hurdle for a lot of people to overcome. But anyhow, this is more just about the projects themselves and some of the new products that I got that I'm going to be trying out. This, for example, is just a pendant that I made from a piece of fossilized bone. And it's hard to even tell from, this angle, but this is a beautiful, gorgeous piece of bone, and it even has some red oxidation in it from since when I cut this out. But I like working with several different types. This is a piece of jasper, one of my earliest. You can see that the polish isn't perfect because I was still learning how to polish, and still working on this. This is a piece of jade that I cut from a large chunk that was sent to me by one of my subscribers, actually. Yeah, thanks, brother. You know who you are. And for example, this here is all of these are mostly stones that I found. This is a jasper chunk that I found and cut this for my wife, so it's going to be a nice little pendant. So anyhow, I've got several various agates I'm working on and things like that, and experimenting with copper and silver and kind of trying to combine the stone with elements of, say, silver, for example. I was playing around. This is my early example of an attempt at a wire wrap, and that's not my thing. There's a lot of time that goes into doing wire wraps, but what I want to do is combine the elements of metal, stone, and wood and put them into a type of jewelry that's very unique, and I have plans in my mind for it. But I just got this in the mail, which is what inspired me to make the video here, because I'm going to give, this is kind of a preamble as to the projects that I'm going to be pursuing. This is resin, or, epoxy resin. Basically, this is for casting. When you see, like, acrylic jewelry, or, to me, plastic jewelry was always cheesy, so I never had any intention on making it. And then when I started looking at acrylic and the different things you can do with epoxy resins, it's just amazing. You can make a still scene within a well, if you've never seen the resin and wood scenery people make, just look up some of the videos. They're just amazing. So resin really is just a clear window to see what you want to preserve, if you will, and that gives you more options. But also, you can buy glow powder. Now these are very small bags of various pigments, and you can add these to the resin, and that will give it a glow-in-the-dark look. But what I'm after is blacklight reactive resin jewelry. I have an idea of making some very interesting festival type jewelry for, say, I want to make these pouches that you can wear around your neck. They have like beads hanging off and stuff like that. Very simple but effective and functional. So anyhow, that's what I'm working on there. I've got various glow powders I'm going to mix with the resin, and my thought was to take pendants, and I'd like to mount them in a nicely done wood setting, if you will, and then within that also add elements of silver, perhaps copper, or whatever I'm working with. Now I bought these, it was only like $6 for like 80 gears. I didn't realize how big they were going to be. I thought they'd be a lot smaller. I guess a lot of people would complain if they were too small, but I wanted them smaller. But I might be able to still make use of these and make some interesting steampunk type things. I'm not a steampunk person, but I really like the idea of mixing gears with nature. It's this metaphor of, it's that old time versus nature versus, technology, if you will. I don't know. I'll show you more as I get going. This is just CA glue, standard big ass bottle of super glue, which is going to be essential for doing some of these smaller attachments. And so, you know, these are all the various pieces I've worked on, different settings, experiments, but I haven't got to the point where I'm really working with silver the way I'd like to. You know, I've got various boxes and chunks of agate, big chunks of petrified wood, like this one that I found last year. And so there's a lot of different stones to go through and check out. This is my cabbing machine. It's a very simple, cheaper unit. You grind down your stones rough here, and then you smooth them out a little more, and then you come over here to the polishing pad. And I use a mixture of cerium oxide and water, and that cerium oxide is like glass polish, and that allows you to get the stones to that shiny look. And that's the hardest part when you're doing cabbing, is getting a perfect sheen that doesn't have any bumps in it. And I'm still learning how to do all that. So that's the cabbing machine, and it does have a built-in diamond blade for cutting. But I'm going to tell you, if any of you are interested in getting into stone, there's a lot of purists out there who tell you, oh, you have to have a cabbing saw, and you know, you have to have a larger saw and run it really slow. I say hooey. You know, if you're running big stones, that's one thing, but if you just want to cut some stones up, you can buy a cheap little $80 tile saw, and this thing has cut hundreds of stones, and I've replaced the blade once. So for just simple cutting, these aren't exactly accurate, but you can build a sled for it, so you can cut really nice cabs. Because when you're doing preforming, or cutting material for cabochons or for jewelry, you want it to be as flat as possible, because it's a pain in the ass trying to grind out mistakes. And so that's my setup. That's what I got going on, and I just wanted to share. You know, wear your goggles, wear your respirators, all that stuff. But I know not a lot of people are out there are doing stonework, so it's not like everyone's dying to work with rocks. But it's somewhat of a passion of mine, and I'm really glad that I have an opportunity now to maybe pursue it a little bit further. So this is my introductory video. As I start making jewelry, I will keep it updated and let people know what's going on. Have a good day, everyone, and hope you all are doing well. Talk to you later.